welcome to the special edition of Make in India, New Deal for Defence. I'm Shireen Bhan and we're coming to you from San Francisco, the innovation capital of the world. And innovation is what we need in India's defence sector. Now, times, they are changing. The Indian defence industry has largely consisted of medium and small enterprises which supply essential components to the large system integrators. But not anymore. That story is changing. The MSME sector is slowly but surely coming out of the shadows. And this week on Make in India, New Deal for Defence, CNBC TV 18 Sajit Mangat travels to Maharashtra's automotive hub, Chakan, to look at the capabilities of Transport Solutions India, a 9-year-old company that's creating a niche for itself through specialized transport applications that help transport military shelters and weapon systems.
The onset of the monsoons is typically a lean season for most commercial vehicle players. But this facility in Chakan is bustling with activity. And by all accounts, it's promising to be a busy season, rain or no rain.
We are at the Chakan facility of Transport Solutions India. TSI is involved in the manufacturing of specialized trailers which are used for military shelters and weapon systems.
TSI's journey has not been a long one. It was started in 2006 by a father-son duo, VK Singh and Anand Singh. While VK Singh brought with him 37 years of experience with Tata Motors, his son gave up his job as a consultant with Pricewaterhouse in the US. But this was hardly a spur-of-the-moment thing.
We founded TSI together in January 2006. We saw there was a void in the commercial vehicle industry related to truck applications. And since my father was also in Tata Motors for 37 years and he was part of this business, he had very good background and knowledge in this. And he said, let's stay focused on this with the objective to bring best technologies from Europe focused on specific niches in the commercial vehicle industry in India.
What began as a small operation in Pune quickly took on mammoth proportions. TSI roped in some of the world's largest specialized cargo transporters as it began building, streamlining and accentuating its offerings and created a name for itself in the specialized transport segment. For the most part, joint ventures have been the name of the game. TSI entered into a 49-51 JV with French Major Law for specialized automotive trailers. Then it forged a 50-50 JV with Holland Davy to form HLM India, which allowed it to enter the cold chain applications or reefer trucks market. And then came an 80-20 JV with German-Finnish logistics player Mosoft.
Over the years, we have added several different leading truck application solution companies from Europe. We started with Lohr in 2008-9, then came Mosolf in 9-10 and HLM in 10-11 and so on and so forth. And then most recently into the defense sector with Sofram, another French company.
These joint ventures allowed TSI to acquire the technology and design strength it needed to thrive, since all the company had to do was modify the technology and designs to suit Indian roads and pitch them to the Indian automobile OEMs. It was during one such pitch to Ashok Leyland that the commercial vehicle giant asked the father-son team to look at subsidiary Automotive Coaches and Components or ACCL, which operated in a similar niche.
This was the more recent acquisition in 2013. It was a former Ashok Leyland Group company based in Chennai, with factories in Chennai, Pondicherry and in Orgadam. And they had also a lot of defense background being part of the Ashok Leyland Group. So this acquisition along with TSI's capabilities had already got us a start into defense.
TSI through this acquisition gained access to ACCL's defense industrial license to manufacture armored vehicles. It also got operational manufacturing facilities in Chennai and Puducherry, and ACCL subsidiary PL Hallwell, which specialized in manufacturing tippers.
Through Lohr, yes. Through TSI's internal development, yes. And through the acquisition of ACCL PL Hallwell, which came in 2013. Through these, we entered into the defense field. Each at different levels of penetration in different product segments. Sofram is more on the strategic side also. PL Hallwell has been there working with the DRDO, VRD, LPSC, all these different labs for the last 15-20 years as part of Ashok Leyland and now as part of our group. And of course through TSI's own internal capabilities working with VRD Ahmednagar, because they are close by, and vehicle research development engineers, they visited us and they found that we have good capabilities ourselves.
So TSI's entry into defense was not so much by design as by default. TSI wasted no time in registering itself with the VRD or the Vehicle Research Development Establishment that falls under the DRDO's ambit. And after assessing TSI's capabilities, VRD began discussions with the company for the construction of military shelters. These are cabins that are mounted on specialized trailers and can be converted into command and control centers, makeshift kitchens, or any other space required by ground forces.
The Chakan facility is increasingly used to work with VRD. TSI is working with VRD to make specialized trailers like these.
We started with some simple trailers for carrying the IMS range, that is the military shelter range. We've also done, these are basically hydraulic axle trailers with hydraulic suspension, steering systems, etc. This is built by our knowledge of commercial vehicle trailers, and we are able to extend that into this field.
Then the orders got tougher. The VRD ordered SPTs or special purpose trailers.
These are special purpose trailers for transport of some missiles. They're also for some containers. The overall program size I'm not aware of, but definitely it was about 24 such vehicles.
The company has already rolled out 3 of these from its Chakan plant and says it will have 10 SPTs ready to roll out by the end of July. Given this plant's proximity to VRD Ahmednagar, TSI is today busy consolidating all its VRD engagements at its Pune facility. But the real turning point for TSI came when the company was selected by the DRDO to manufacture the specialized trailers to transport the Agni 5 missile system. These specialized trailers have to be big enough to carry a payload of 140 tons. And for this project, TSI will use the expertise of its joint venture partner LOR. Hydraulically operated and self-steered, each Agni 5 missile which the DRDO plans to operationalize this year will need its own trailer. So at present 48 trailers are to be built, and this will take place at TSI's Puducherry facility. The company will deliver the first trailer in 21 weeks and thereafter one trailer every 13 weeks. Even with this accelerated production schedule, it will take at least 3 to 4 years to meet the initial target. The schematics are mind-boggling for a layperson, but not for TSI.
We started with some simple trailers for carrying the IMS range, that is the military shelter range. We've also done, these are basically hydraulic axle trailers with hydraulic suspension, steering systems, etc. This is built by our knowledge of commercial vehicle trailers, and we are able to extend that into this field.
LOR is not the only JV partner who will play a part in this exercise. LOR's subsidiary SoFrame has also been roped in for its extensive expertise in manufacturing of transportation products for the defense industry. Now this JV, in which TSI holds 49%, is yet to be operationalized due to extant FDI guidelines, but TSI is working around the hurdle.
Right now, it's not a straight answer I will give you, because the way the requirement of 49, 51, all of these are there. We have a simple MOU in place together. What we are doing is the design engineering is with SOFRAM. They are providing the design engineering to us, and the joint venture in India is the actual manufacturing arm that is producing these things.
The biggest challenge for MSMEs like TSI is the challenge of financial stability, especially when working on NCNC or no-cost, no-commitment projects. To spell this out, NCNC is a process where a vendor develops or manufactures equipment without a guarantee that DRDO or any other defense agency will either pay for the cost of development or place orders. TSI and its French partners have ventured into this category on a test basis, where TSI will be manufacturing specialized 70-ton tank transporters to carry the battle tank Arjun. This order has come from BEML, and again its JV partner LOR will chip in with financial and technological support.
They have a lot of experience in this, because they have built this for the French army, Polish army, Belgian army, Italian army, a lot of different armies all over the world. And they have a tank which is very similar to the Arjun tank in terms of size, weight, etc. So for them, this is something which they've already done and built several numbers of. The challenge was that we had to adapt that for India in terms of The truck which is pulling it, it's a Tatra truck, so it's not a semi-trailer, it's a drawbar trailer, so there is a different configuration in terms of weight transfer.
TSI's focus, however, is not restricted to the business of specialized cargo transport. It is in the process of renewing its industrial license for its Chennai facility. That's where it expects partner Ashok Leyland, which has won an order for armoured vehicles, to build light armoured strike vehicles.
ACCL has the license for armouring. Most recently we got it renewed also with the Home Ministry. There are certain programs for the light strike vehicle, which one of our customers, Ashok Leyland, is leading in that. So we're getting ready for these light strike vehicle requirements that will be required to be made on a platform with armouring.
TSI's long-term relationship with Ashok Leyland goes beyond this order. It is also working with Ashok Leyland to build specialized cabins on Leyland's Stallion platform for the Army. Over the last 9 years, TSI has grown into a 200 crore rupee company, which sees nearly 5% of its revenues coming from the defence sector. But with the government's Make in India drive shifting to higher gear, it hopes to take this contribution up to 15% in the next couple of years, propelling the company towards turnover exceeding 500 crore rupees over the next few years.
Well, Kerry, there are some big aspirations and dreams that TSI is working towards. It's time now for us to take a short break here, but when we return on Making India a New Deal in Defence, we look at the challenges that TSI and its joint venture partners face in the Indian defence market. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Make in India, a New Deal for Defence. I'm Shireen Bhan. The company we're talking about today is Transport Solutions India, a 9-year-old company that specializes in designing and manufacturing transport systems. Now, TSI's latest order comes from BEML and involves the manufacture of specialized transporters to carry 70-ton tanks like the battle tank Arjun. This order is a litmus test not only for TSI but also for many small and medium-sized companies which do not have the financial capability to handle no-cost, no-commitment projects. Sajid Mangat explores how foreign partners in the MSME space are looking at the Indian defence market.
Government policies, they're the biggest hurdle for most private companies looking to make a name for themselves in the defence field space. Take for instance the MAKE program. It's been in effect for at least 5 years now, but is yet to make a difference to the sector. For one, most of the defence projects being awarded to Indian companies fall under the NCNC or No Cost No Commitment category. This means there is no guarantee that the money they invest in the R&D of the product will be reimbursed or that the finished product will even be accepted. For companies, this restricts stable cash flows and more often than not becomes a burden on the cash flow from regular business. When the company in question is a micro, small and medium enterprise, this makes for a very precarious situation.
In fact, one of the challenges that we face as a small and medium enterprise is that we need to do a lot of NCNC work, and the tank transporter for Arjun that we are making is also an NCNC, and Sofam from France is funding the full NCNC cost involved, and the joint venture is manufacturing it in India.
It is a difficult market for a small company to enter. Because you require a lot of investment, and for people like us with limited resources, it has been a challenge. It took us some time to really decide to go for it.
Forget financial constraints, delays in the procurement process have also forced quite a few companies to drop projects midway, and this only adds to the uncertainty and frustration.
For a small medium scale company to be 100% focused on defense is always a challenge because of this exact reason. Because programs come, they get delayed, they get changed, they get stopped, and you cannot really have a very clear visibility as a small company as to how much you can rely on these type of things. You have to be prepared, and that's why, for example, in our company also it's not that big share of our business, because we cannot We have to pay our bills each month, we have to have our overheads that have to be taken care of, the banks, etc.
To add to the problem, every large Indian defense company works with an ecosystem of MSMEs. And since policies and regulations are not generally framed keeping the MSMEs in mind, these companies don't always benefit. Working with large players also comes with its own set of hurdles.
In the full ecosystem and in the full value chain, you have everybody playing their role and everybody pulling the strings depending upon their strength and capability. Definitely the larger players have a lot more influence in how things move. A lot of the times we have to get aligned with the larger players, and we do have our value to provide, but we do not have the positioning that can allow us to necessarily dictate or influence the return on the value that we provide.
If you see the defense sector in Europe or elsewhere, you have very specialized small supplier, but in their technology far superior than the largest one. So that makes a difference, and that is not happening in India. The big companies are controlling the orders, and then they are buying whatever technology required for this program, and the margin stays at the level of the large group.
This situation has companies like TSI hoping that the new policies arising out of the Modi government's Make in India initiative will be framed keeping MSMEs in mind and do their bit to smooth the way for these companies to grow and thrive. After all, at the end of the day, jobs and skills are developed at the MSME level and not at the level where large system integrators play ball.
We provide the jobs, we provide the skills, give us the means to do more without hamstringing us at every step of the way. That's the message from companies like TSI, which are hunting for ways to expand their product portfolio and deepen ties with foreign partners. It's time now for another quick break here. But on the other side, Sajid speaks to Anand Singh on some of the more nuanced challenges of being an MSME in the defense space and takes a closer look at the specialized projects that TSIS is handling. Welcome back. You're watching Make in India, New Deal for Defence, and this week we're in Chakan in Maharashtra taking a closer look at Transport Solutions India, a 200 crore rupee company that's still carving out a niche for itself in India's defence manufacturing sector. Here's CNBC TV 18 Sajid Mangat in conversation with the company's co-founder and CEO Anand Singh on the challenges of entering the NCNC segment and the way forward for MSMEs in this field.
Anand, thank you for having us in your facility. Give us an idea of what is the capability of this facility.
This facility is able to produce 300 units a month, and we have the full range that we produce here, right from car carriers to truck carriers to standard trailers, tippers, tipper trailers, and our defense range of products.
I want to talk to you about the challenges of MSMEs for the defense sector. One of the biggest challenges is the time-consuming process, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you see any defense program from the start to finish has a particular timeline in mind. But there is a process which we have to go through at each stage to get certain certification and approval, and that sometimes also to get the vetting done and the design cleared. For a small and medium-sized enterprise, we follow the timeline very strictly. But then there are things which are outside our control, which we cannot really have influence over, which causes the project to get delayed many times. So we have a big investment we have made in material, etc. And because of certain things get delayed, then we have a problem that, you know, the turning of the working capital does not happen as fast as it should.
Another issue which is impacting the MSMEs is the NCNC, no cost, no commitment.
Yes.
Now, for a small MSME company, it's the biggest challenge to have an NCNC.
Yes.
How are you dealing with it?
It is a challenge, and we are lucky to have good partners in Sofram in France. For example, the 70-ton tank transporter, that is also an NCNC. For this particular project,
France came forward and said, well, we will support you, we will fund the NCNC and take that risk together. We will take that risk together that yes, we will make the product, we will demonstrate it and hope it speaks for itself and the MOD will take it. So in this particular situation we have a solution, but a lot of the small medium scale enterprises are not able to cross this hurdle of NCNC. Many times they have to walk away from projects because they don't have the financial ability and the wherewithal to be able to deliver with an NCNC clause. In fact, we also backed away from a couple of projects already last year because technically we were good, price wise we were good, experience wise we were good, but we didn't have the money to do an NCNC capability.
So what do you suggest to the government? How should the government deal with MSMEs who want to come into the sector, and how do you handle the NCNC issue?
Well, if I put it from my perspective, I understand why the government does it the way they do it, but for promoting small and medium enterprise in this sector, I think they have to have a different view that it may be a performance driven end clause, but if the vehicle performs, there should be the commitment to buy. It cannot be no commitment and no charge for a small guy, because if he invests a crore, 2 crores, 3 crores into a product and even if it performs, there is no commitment to buy. I think if that part can be changed a little bit, then it will give a lot more people who are entrepreneurs and who have the ability to take risks and who believe in themselves that I can produce a good product which will work and will meet the performance criteria at the cost level required, then they will take a lot more risk or the challenge that yes, let me do it.
Or make program for the MSME alone, where the cost is shared by the MSME and the DRDO in an 80-20 ratio, like today it's for some of the major projects.
Yes, that would be also a very good way, because then you are encouraging the grassroots manufacturing also, where a lot of the value is created. All this work typically is done by the small scale, medium scale enterprises, where they are putting in the effort at the ground level and actually doing the production themselves. So they have the ability, the knowledge, the capability, but finance is the issue.
Anand, thank you very much for...
Thank you for having us here and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was Transport Solutions India co-founder and CEO Anand Singh speaking to CNBC TV 18 Sajit Mangat. TSI is betting big on the specialized transportation segment for the Defence Forces and hopes to enter into the tank transportation and missile system transportation segments soon. That's it then on this week's edition of Make in India, New Deal for Defence. From all of us here, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again, same time, same place next week.